Hello again, fellow audiophiles. I am Wave Theory, and a friend of the channel gave me a fresh new loan, and that is the Sennheiser HD660s2 open back dynamic driver headphone. It's exciting, right? When a company like Sennheiser brings out a new headphone, it's a thrill. So this is going to be a first impressions video. Again, this was a loan from a friend of the channel. Sennheiser has no knowledge that I have this headphone until they see this video and all of that. So we'll go ahead, we'll do shameless self-promotion. We'll come back on the other side and I will drop some quick first impressions. Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please remember to hit that like button, and if you haven't, please subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon set up so that you can help support me on a monthly basis, and I've set up a PayPal donation so that you can help me out in that way too if a monthly subscription does not make sense for you. Links for all of that, including the benefits, in the description below. Please check those out. All right, on with the show. Alright, said friend of the channel bought this for $600 US from Audio 46. I will put a link to our Audio 46's website down below, as well as some other places where you might be able to buy these, depending on where those are. Those may be affiliate links, they may not be. Alright, so let's just try to make this short and quick. Again, first impressions. So I have listened to this for about a total of 10 to 12 hours now. I have given it about a single 12-hour break-in session where it just played loudly overnight. And so these arrived to me brand new in the box. So I listened briefly with them brand new out of the box, no break-in. Let them break in for about 12 hours and then did close to 10-ish, I want to say, hours on two different signal chains. One here at home with my Berkeley Alpha S2 DAC and the Violectric HPA V281 headphone amp, so a high-end signal chain for it. And the other at my work listening setup where I currently am using a Schiit Modi Multibit 2 DAC and a Schiit Niche Magni Piety amp, which I'm working on a review for the latter here, so expect that soon too. All right, so those were the two signal chains. Out of the box, the build and all of that, I mean, it's classic Sennheiser HD600 series, right? Just a little bit different colorway with black and the copper color accents on it and all of that, okay? Fairly sharp listen, but it is unmistakably a Sennheiser in its look and its construction. It's also unmistakably a Sennheiser in how hard it clamps on the head, okay? Head in a vice grip. Okay, going on here with the clamp force. I put these over my Yamo C93 Mark II bookshelf speakers for the night that I broke them in while playing to loosen up the headband. That helped a lot. They are much more comfortable now. The pads were a little bit stiff at first, but they are wearing in quickly. Okay, so that is nice too. It is becoming much more comfortable and getting more of that traditional Sennheiser comfort after you get past that hard clamp and the stiff pads at first. Okay. The earliest sound impressions, brand new right out of the box, were that it was a little bit grainy and a little bit harsh in the upper mid-range, but that was break-in. It has really dropped the grain. It has really smoothed out a lot right after that 12-hour break-in session. No, that break-in session was not just brain stuff, because I listened for a couple of hours, heard that, let it break in overnight, did not listen to it. As soon as I put it back on my head the next day, I did not notice that grain or that upper mid harshness, and believe me, I was listening for it because I wanted it to go away, okay, and was very, very careful to make sure that it did before I make this claim. All right, initially I thought it sounded really wonderful with quieter and less busy passages of music, like intros to songs that have like just an acoustic guitar or a vocal, or maybe just those two, but just like a soft intro and then get bigger. I was noticing a bit of a lack of dynamics right out of the box, where it would sound really wonderful and natural in those simple passages, but then when the full band would come in, there would not be so much impact. There wouldn't be a ton of, like, almost the dynamic range felt a little bit squelched. Okay, but that too seems to be a bit of a break-in thing, because that also, like, just before I shot this video today, I went back and listened to a couple of tracks that I know start slow and then just bam, come in big and hit hard, and those dynamics were waking up. Okay, so I think that as the driver is loosening, that's getting better. So with that, like it's starting to pick up some pretty good dynamic range, some pretty good dynamic punch to it, and that sort of thing. The other thing that I'm picking up here early on is this is probably going to be the best sound stager in the Sen HD600 line. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger in stage than I remember the HD600 being, than I remember my HD6XX being, all of that. It's also more coherent in its imaging, because you know that 3 blob effect that we talk about with Sennheisers, where you get left, you get center, center is right here, and then you get right, but then not a whole lot in between. This one is sounding a lot more coherent across the soundstage so far. Okay, so that's encouraging as well. Resolution is pretty good so far. I don't know if it's going to be price point or class leading yet, but I'm hearing decent bass texturing, room reverbs, and that sort of thing. So, things that I am going to be listening for as I come back to the full review. And again, because this is a first impressions video here, I reserve the right to change my mind on this, roll back some of these statements, okay, or double down on them, whatever the case may be. All right, and I also need to get to comparisons with other similarly priced headphone models, as well as, like, I have the 6XX still in my personal collection to compare this to. Things that I will be listening for are, do those dynamics continue to fill out? Does that sound stage being a little bit bigger and a little bit more coherent hold up in direct comparisons? There is that hint of Sennheiser veil here yet, so what's the resolution going to be like? Is it really resolving, or, you know, kind of like the 6XX, where it actually is quite resolving, particularly through the mid-range? It just doesn't present that way at first. Is this going to be like that? Is it going to be lacking in the resolution and all that? And then a big question. I thought that the 660 version 1 was overpriced. It was just not worth the money that they were asking for right out of the gate. That was more of like a $250, $300-ish headphone to me. So is this one at an MSRP of $600 actually going to be worth that $600? That's a question that I have coming up here too, and that's something I'm going to be listening to very closely moving forward. Okay, I'm Wave Theory. This has been my first impressions of the Sennheiser HD660s2. Stay tuned for the full review of this headphone and many other pieces of audio gear here in the near future. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, check out my PayPal, check out my Patreon, all of those things. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the music.